The University of Northern Colorado Student Senate elections are just around the corner, and so is the election for student body president. We'll introduce you to the candidates.
And UNC students got the chance to sit down with local refugees, and I had the chance to join them. This is Bear News.
Thank you for tuning in. I'm Tanner Schwint.
And I'm Zoe Campbell.
Mo money, mo problems, right? Well, not in UNC's case. Student Senate voted on student programming allocation distribution last week. SPA is a resource used to support inclusive, equitable, and accessible campus programs and initiatives. The vote came after resource centers presented their funding requests earlier this month. Staying just under the $50,000 budget, the Senate funded 13 programs from the Office of Engagement, the Office of Equity and Inclusion, the Rec Center, and 5 different cultural centers. Each program received about 77% of their requested funding amount. In other business, the Senate distributed specialized stoles and honor cords to 7 graduating individuals, including 4 Senate members and 3 college senators. A full schedule of Student Senate meeting is available on their website, and students are always welcome to attend the meetings.
How well do you know your neighbor? Well, it might surprise you to find out Greeley is the home to a significant population of immigrants and refugees from around the world. In an effort to help connect students to the community, UNC invited students and community members to get together last week, and I got a chance to sit in. A night of information and intimacy. Those are the 2 words that could be used to describe the global to local face-to-face refugee event. It's an event that is meant to help people come face-to-face with reality, the reality of so many in the Greeley community. The night began with an introduction by the creator of the event, Mohammed, who said he created the event to start a conversation.
The reason I did this event was to spark a conversation between the locals and the locals of the community and the students at UNC and the refugee immigrant community. So just to create awareness, to let them know that, because from the social media and from the news outlets, people think what refugees are, and some of them might not be accurate. So this event was to let everybody know what the truth is and what's actually accurate.
That conversation brought refugees in the Greeley community with students and faculty at UNC. The 32 people in attendance got to ask each other questions about their own experiences in the community. Dinner was also served at the event with a buffet-style meal of pasta, salad, and breadsticks. The evening ended with, well, an uncomfortable activity for many, a speed dating of sorts. Mohammed encouraged people at the event to face each other and to not talk for 2 minutes straight. Many laughed and smiled while others took things more serious as they looked into each other's eyes to understand their neighbor. Reporting from the University Center, I'm Zoe Campbell, Bear News. It certainly was a great way to foster a great conversation for an important cause in the community. To learn more about events and support for the immigrants and refugees, visit the Immigrant and Refugee Center or go to their website at www.ircnoco.com. You might have heard of Best Buddies, but for those of you who haven't, it's the world's largest organization dedicated to ending the isolation of people with disabilities. The organization put on an art show at the University Center Sunday. Reporter Courtney Lockie had a chance to sit in on the event.
Last month, artist Krista Hines donated hundreds of bowls she made on a pottery wheel for these buddies to paint. And on Sunday, they got to share their work.
I think it's beautiful. They're doing an art show, and I love the little comments, little cards that people are able to comment on their bowls.
The buddies spent the day enjoying snacks, mingling, and complimenting each other's bowls. There was even a scavenger hunt for buddies to participate in, looking for little trinkets around the UC. The event brought smiles, laughs, and helped to create a more inclusive community.
The best part is just seeing the smiles on people's faces, the people I get to meet, the relationships I get to be involved with, and the art that we get to do together.
The art show allowed the buddies to get creative, use their imagination, and showcase their talents.
Well, because it's fun, it's a fun activity. I like to color the ball. I like to make it cute.
The goal of Best Buddies is to create long-lasting, meaningful friendships between people with and without disabilities. And thanks to Heinz and several others, the organization is one step closer to reaching that goal. Reporting from the University Center, I'm Courtney Lockie, Bear News.
There are several different branches of Best Buddies that you can join to help the cause. And if you're a UNC student, you can make a difference. Get involved and help out at events just like this one.
Spring is in full swing, so is the musical styling of opera. UNC's vocal talent performed in the one-day multi-scene event, New Voices in Opera. Audience members listened to the unveiling of 3 new operatic works. Student composers composed scenes entitled Pride and Prejudice and Home on Blue Mountain. Operatic high notes accompanied a healthy dose of dancing and theatrics. Composer Connor Shaw's past family experiences in western Colorado helped shape Home on Blue Mountain. UNC's director of opera theater Brian Ludloff and composer Paul Eldwood composed the scene The Taming. If you missed out on this one-day event, don't fret. The age-old art from Lives On, let's get this straight. Comic opera Britain's Albert Herring is April 18th and 20th. Be sure to grab your tickets. If you're a senior this semester, odds are you're already anxiously anticipating graduation. But before you get too distracted by warm, sunny days and your bright future ahead, there are a few things that you might need to finish before walking across the stage to receive that diploma. First, rent your cap and gown. Rentals by April 1st before 9:59 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time. You also need to make sure that the address where you want your diploma sent is updated on your URSA account before May 17th. It's as simple as logging into URSA and clicking on the Student tab. Then click the drop down next to type of address to insert. Select diploma mailing and click Submit. Then you will enter the current date in the valid from field and leave the until this date field blank. Enter the address where you would like your diploma mailed to and click Submit. Diplomas for spring graduates go out on June 24th, and I think I made that sound more complicated than it is. The commencement ceremony starts at 10 a.m. Saturday, May 4th at Nottingham Field, but you'll need to line up earlier in the Bank of Colorado Arena. So, seniors, be sure to complete these steps before graduation so you can finish your last semester strong.
Yes, and I myself am a senior, and I am so excited.
You've got all this done, right?
Graduation date. Just about, yeah. Coming up after the break, we give you a look at the 4 people appearing on the ballot to be your student body president.
We'll also sit down with each of them to let you know the people behind the names. Stay tuned.
All right, give me a spot. You know my motto, safety first.
They could be dangerous. I think we should call animal control.
Animal control?
To be safe.
Don't worry.
Just...
I got this. It's a new motto.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you.
Here's your check.
Oh, you got it. You know, since I got rid of my car, I really enjoy walking.
Okay. Got it. No?
Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates.
Oh, you're home early.
You live with your mom?
That'll set your game back a few years. Buzzed, busted, and broke.
Michael Moss, Jordani Mujiguera, Grant May, and Michaela Tanseo are just 4 of the names you will see on the ballot this year. But they are the 4 running for student body president this year as well.
Bear News reporters sat down with each of them to bring you a bit more information about the people who want to be your student body president. Michael Moss wants to make sure that UNC is a place that prospective students want to come and current students want to stay.
I'm not trying to do it for a resume builder. I'm trying to more or less create a safer environment for this campus and keep our attainment rate up. So I think being a part of the student body and trying to be an advocate for them, I can create something more for students to be involved with and to want to stay here at UNC.
Budget cuts, student involvement, and safety are Michael Moss's top priorities. CSU and Texas A&M have helped Moss develop a blueprint for the Safe Ride program, and that's a program he hopes to implement.
It's a non-judgmental safe ride home from wherever you are, intoxicated or not. It will take you from one location back to your house or your dorm or apartment safely. It requires an app or a phone call, and it's no charge to you whatsoever.
Yeah. Now Moss is no stranger to Student Senate. He is the current director of Student Affairs.
By the end of next week, UNC will have a new student body president, and Jordani Muhigera is throwing his hat into the ring. The freshman political science major began his UNC career last semester and hails from the Dominican Republic of the Congo.
If I do this, I'm doing what's right. As long as I'm doing what's right at the end of the day, that's what really drives me to go to the next step.
Muhigera said part of his goal as a candidate is to bring attention to representation on campus.
Another reason why I decided to run for student body president was because of representation here at the campus, of course. Given that I'm a minority at this campus and given the population of the campus itself as well.
He said his platform emphasizes transparency, equity, and inclusion within the campus community, and that the university functions like a family. Throughout his young career in politics, he aims to be a voice for the voiceless. Upon election, Muhigera will prioritize the enrollment of military and veteran-associated students. He also discussed how he can help the Center for Women's and Gender Equity move forward with new ideas, and help the Gender and Sexuality Resource Center overcome their understaffing problem.
I just believe that I'm ambitious and I'm ready to serve the student body, of course. I believe that, I'm an ambitious person, and I'm also a leader. I'm an activist, I'm an advocate for everybody.
If elected, Muhigera said he also wants to promote transparency between Student Senate, the Board of Trustees, and the student body, ensuring everyone is on the same page and aware of where the university is going. Reporting for Bear News, I'm Erica Sebring.
With the campaign slogan, "Let's open the door to community," it's not hard to guess what student body presidential hopeful Grant May's campaign is focused on.
I believe that once we increase the communication between the student body and the student senate, they will have transparency to see exactly what we're doing with their time, as well as if we can connect students to the communities that they need, we are able to better represent them.
Communication. That's what May says he wants to be remembered for if he wins next month's election.
I think my legacy as student body president will be one that closed the communication gap between the student body senate and the student body.
Leadership is a quality that seems to run in May's family. His grandfather, Winston Hill, was a captain for the New York Jets, helping lead the team to a championship in Super Bowl III. But his legacy was not limited to the field. Hill also ran football camps for young linesmen and helped start the first alcohol abuse prevention program in Denver. In addition, May's aunt, Brenda Cole, is a U.S. Circuit Court judge in Atlanta. May says he's been blessed to be surrounded by such strong leaders throughout his life, and that these leaders have had a profound effect on his development.
That resonates with me, that leaders don't only lead for their own benefit, but they grow other people around them.
May's focus on community has led him to oppose expensive building projects on campus that he blames for higher tuition, loss of jobs, and contributing to the university's current budget deficit, saying the school should be putting people first.
And it's time for us to look at whether or not we value people or buildings that make us look good. And I believe it is people who represent what the Bear population is and not buildings.
May says his real-world experience in business and government will help him make sure things get done during his term.
I have actually worked in politics before. I used to work for the U.S. Congress and write healthcare policy, and I had to go between certain legislators and make sure that there was unity between them in order to get certain things passed.
Along with improving communication, May said he wants to help students find community on campus. Using the Marcus Garvey Cultural Center as an example, he said that there are several resources on campus that students aren't taking advantage of.
So it's my belief that the resources on campus that we do have are being underutilized, and therefore students are feeling like they are underrepresented in the Student Senate.
May said it's all part of his plan to open the door to community. Reporting from the campus commons, this is Luke Mullins, Bear News.
Student body president candidate Michaela Tanseo is the only woman out of the 4 candidates in this year's election. She says she's not running for a resume builder, but to help students.
To me is I hope people realize that I'm not running for this position for a resume position, because I really don't need it on my resume, like not to sound cocky or anything, but I'm not doing this so that I can make myself look better than other people when it's time to apply for a new career. I'm doing this because I genuinely care for our students and our student body and future students coming into school. So I think that is definitely one of the biggest things, is the fact that I actually care.
Even though Tanseo is originally from Hawaii, she says UNC holds a special place in her heart.
When I got to UNC, essentially, it was definitely one of those schools where I kind of just threw a dart at a map and was like, this is it. All right, let's go. Never been here, never been to Colorado. I kind of just hopped on a plane at the age of 17 and figured, why not? Came by myself and fell in love with all the different programs I was a part of. And ever since then, with the connections that I have to current students, alumni, practically fell in love with the whole once a bear, always a bear mindset. So here I am. So I've been at UNC for the last 5 years. I've worked in housing and athletics, new student orientation. I'm involved pretty heavily here on campus. And I have noticed the impact that I've had able to give to this campus. But I feel like by having this position, I would be able to impact the campus further and more on the administration side, because students take you so seriously with only so much of a backing. And while it is important to have the student support, like some faculty, like to be completely transparent, some faculty will not take you seriously if you don't have that type of title or that type of backing. And I feel like in order to make improvements on campus for the student success, and in order to make it a better environment for people to be able to be successful, like having that title will essentially help in an easier way.
Reporting from the UC, I'm Tanner Schwint, Bear News.
Voting gets underway April 2nd and ends April 4th. Polls are open from 8 a.m. until 5 p.m. each of those days.
After this break, you will get the chance to meet a fellow UNC Bear who does a little bit of everything around campus and is getting recognized for it.
But first, next week is Money Smart Week at UNC, and as college students, let's face it, we need it. Don't go anywhere.
Hey, I'm Anderson Cooper. As a parent, you want to make sure that your child knows how to deal with bullying when they see it happening. And chances are they want to help, but they don't really know how. Well, teach them that the best thing to do is calmly walk away, find a teacher or other adult, and speak up. And do your part. Be that adult they can talk to and trust will listen. Join me to help stop bullying. Go to stopbullying.gov to find out more.
You sure you don't want some? It's chamomile. Listen, you are extremely terrifying. Just the scariest undead subhuman thing on TV, and I really mean that. But I am worried that you could give my kids nightmares if they see you, so I'm gonna have to block you. So that's it. Oh, and tell the zombies they're blocked too.
73 million adults just get by financially. That's according to Federal Reserve Board's 4th annual survey of household economics and decision making. To help out, Money Smart Week is a national initiative that helps consumers better manage their personal finances. If learning how to better manage your cash is something that interests you, UNC helps host several events next week. There are events covering identity theft, credit score goals, student loans, financial aid, budgeting, and planning for financial security. The events take place at several locations, including the UNC campus Ames Community College and Lincoln Park Library. The events start on Monday, April 1st and end on Friday, April 5th. For more information, check them out online.
She does a little bit of everything, from serving as student trustee to judging UNC's talent show. Last week, Malika Michelle Fuller received a fellowship to honor her leadership on campus. Bear News reporter Amy Golden sat down with Malika to talk about the fellowship and what it means.
You've probably seen her at UNC, whether at the Student Senate meeting or events like Take Back the Night and UNC's Got Talent. Junior Malika Michelle Fuller participates and leads all over campus. Now she has the opportunity to interact with leaders at colleges across the country thanks to the Newman Civic Fellowship. Malika received the fellowship earlier this month. She says this gives her an opportunity to represent the school.
It's such an honor to be recognized, one by, our president, Dr. Feinstein, because he was the one who nominated me for this award, but also just to represent UNC. I have so much love for this campus, and I think we're doing so many great things here, and we're often, kind of glossed over.
University President Andrew Feinstein nominated Malaika for the fellowship because of her leadership and work on bridging the gap between access and opportunities. The fellowship gives Malaika and the other 262 recipients a chance to collaborate on social issues together. This opportunity emphasizes engaged leadership, something that Malaika says matters a lot to her.
There is a quote that I love, and it says, "If serving is below you, then leadership is beyond you." And I really try to embrace that mantra. I think that it's really important to always approach with empathy.
Reporting from the Office of Student Life, I'm Amy Golden, Bear News.
Malaika is the first UNC student to earn the one-year fellowship.
UNC President Andy Feinstein's presidential investiture is coming up on April 12th. The university is now collecting quotes from students, alumni, community members, and anyone associated with UNC. They want voice messages and photos so that they can make a collage of content highlighting your thoughts about scholarships, the campaign for UNC President Andy Feinstein, as well as UNC in general. Now, in addition to Feinstein being officially installed as the 13th UNC president, April 12th is also the official grand opening of the campus commons. The event is open to the campus community as well as the general public. Doors open at noon on April 12th. If you're interested in attending, you can RSVP for the presidential investiture now at www.unco.edu/president/investiture.
The story of the mother of Santa Rosa is pretty much erased from history, but the Hispanic Studies program presented a seminar last week that focused on this hidden history of gender and race in Northern California's history. Colorado College Assistant Professor Karen Roybal spoke about the life of Maria Ignacia Lopez de Carrillo, who is commonly referred to as the Mother of Santa Rosa. Roybal spoke about the Mother of Santa Rosa's contributions to the colonization and settlement of Northern California. Those contributions have been erased from history because, as Roybal found through her research, the Mother of Santa Rosa can't be found in California historical records.
Really interested in the story of a woman named Maria Ignacia Lopez de Carrillo, who was one of the early settlers of Northern California. And I was interested in her perspective because we mostly hear a male-driven history about that, history of colonization and settlement in the U.S. Southwest in particular, and in California, because we most often associate that settlement with General Mariano Guadalupe Vallejo.
This seminar was the second in a trio of seminars sponsored by the Hispanic Studies program. The last seminar is planned for Candelaria Hall, but the date isn't set yet. Hip Hop Madness made its way to UNC last weekend, and as reporter Brittany Martinez tells us, the Student Club BC movement joined in on the fun.
Hip Hop Madness is a dance convention that is held annually in Greeley. This year's event featured beginner, intermediate, and advanced classes led by experienced dancers and choreographers. This event was open to everyone, but UNC's own BC Movement attended the event to represent campus. BC Movement is a hip-hop dance crew run entirely by students. The team performs for basketball, hockey, soccer, and other games and events at UNC. BC Movement co-president Kayla Sloan said the advanced classes were a challenge for the team.
It put us outside of our comfort zone a lot, but it was good. It was good to learn something new, and it taught us different styles of hip-hop, and I think it was really good to push our team to try new things.
After classes, a showcase was held for crews to show off their talent. BC Movement performed a handful of dances, each choreographed by a different member. Co-president Alana Roberts describes their performance.
I guess this one's more unique because we took little pieces of dances we've done all throughout the year, so it's kind of fun. You'll see us do little groups, and yeah, we just had a lot of fun with this one.
While Hip Hop Madness won't be back to Greeley until next year, be sure to look up BC Movement if you're interested and support your fellow Bears. Reporting from the Recreation Center, I'm Brittany Martinez, Bear News.
If you're interested in joining BC Movement, message them on Instagram at UNCO_dance.
We often put our jewelry on in the morning and go on with our day. But have you ever thought about the skill it took to make your ring or necklace? It's an art form that we come into contact with every day. Body as a Canvas exhibit students' metalsmithing works in Crab Hall Friday. The works are described as using the human form like a painter uses a canvas. They encouraged attendees to grab a drink and some snacks and look through their gallery. The artists were available for questions about the pieces. The program displayed more than 30 art pieces from 9 students. As they do every week, Alex Ekstead gets your view on current events in his question of the week, and Renee Ortiz lets you know how to be a happy and healthy bear in the health tip of the week.
And we'll let you know more about this beautiful weather that we have been able to experience in weather. Stay tuned.
Kids will spend 8 minutes decorating their little brother.
Brushing for 2 minutes now can save your child from severe tooth pain later. 2 minutes, twice a day. They have the time.
School's back in session, and that means back to the grind for UNC students. Spring break has been over for a while now, and midterms have been graded, for better or worse. Bear News reporter Alex Ekstead checked in with a few students to see how they did on their tests.
This week, I'm asking students, how hard were your midterms?
They weren't that hard, but I made them a lot harder.
They weren't too bad. I had a lot in a week, though.
They were not bad at all. Pretty easy.
They actually weren't very difficult at all.
The only class that I had an actual midterm in was not that difficult.
My midterms were actually pretty okay. They were, but it was only because I studied. My French midterm almost killed me because it was an oral. But my other midterms were really just not that bad at all.
They were actually not that hard. Most of them were online.
If I'm being 100% honest, most of my midterms were projects, so I got ahead and did them before, and they were easy peasy.
I only had one midterm, and it wasn't hard at all.
Oh, very hard. Like super hard. But I got through, so that's all that matters.
Reporting from outside Toby Kendall Hall, I'm Alex Ekstead.
A lot of those responses were pretty positive. It sounds like most UNC students are study hard and are doing pretty well.
Weather in the 70s just a couple of weeks after something called a bomb cyclone just brought blizzards to the area. Yep, that's just Colorado being Colorado. But what can you expect in the coming week? Matthew Oberk lets us know.
Thank you all for tuning in. I'm meteorologist Matthew Oberk. Looking now at our current temperatures, we see this week things are starting to really warm up. We have down to the southeast temperatures in the mid 60s, and down in the southwest we have temperatures reaching up to even the high 70s to low 80s range. And up here in the central U.S. region, even in our area, we have that warm, moist air being drawn up. So we have temperatures ranging from the high 40s to mid 60s range. And up north, we see temperatures ranging from the mid 30s to the low 50s. Looking at our current fronts in our area, later on tonight, we could probably expect some light showers happening with possible thunderstorm activity closer to the central U.S. Happening later on today as well. And as we move over to Friday's forecast, things will start to get a little bit more unstable, and we could probably expect some scattered thunderstorms in our area tomorrow as well. And on Saturday morning, things will start to stabilize a little bit. Things will start to really cool down, and we may even expect some light snow happening as well. And as we look at our Friday morning forecast at around 8 a.m., we'll see possible light showers continue with the temperature around 36 degrees. And those showers will continue throughout the day. And as we reach the noon time, we'll see those scattered thunderstorms start to develop, and temperatures will reach at around 45 degrees. Later on that afternoon, we'll see a high of 50 degrees. Looking at our 7-day forecast, we see as we transition into the weekend, things will start to calm down a little bit with temperatures of around 45 degrees, and then things will start to heat up throughout the week. Temperatures will reach around 68 degrees on Tuesday, and then things will start to get a little bit more unstable on Wednesday with possible light showers that day. We'll have more on the weather next week. Back to you.
With the weather warming up, students have to try a little bit harder to come back inside and go to class. But some students want nothing to do with the outdoors. Why? Well, Bear News reporter Renee Ortiz joins us to explain in her health tip of the week.
Thanks, Zoe. Well, we're officially in the season of spring. Time for the flowers to bloom, and with those flowers comes, of course, allergies. With this in mind, my health tip for the week is this: make sure you stay sneeze-free. Allergies occur when your immune system reacts to a foreign substance which can inflame your skin, sinuses, and airways. Common allergy symptoms include itchy, watery eyes, runny noses, rashes, and sneezing. Combine those symptoms with Colorado's dry climate and you have a recipe for an indoor hermit. But there is good news. There are lots of treatments you can take to tone down all of those symptoms. Treatments include oral antihistamines as well as nasal sprays and oral decongestants. Before starting any medications, always be sure to check with your doctor. So as always, be a good bear and safely enjoy that spring air. Back to you, Zoe.
Thanks, Renee. We'd also like to welcome everyone back for a healthy rest of the semester. Join us next week for more health tips about how to stay healthy.
Coming up, Courtney Lockett will fill you, UNC sports fans, in on what you might have missed over the break.
And we'll take a look at some of our spring sports to see how they all competed over the weekend.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
All right, give me a spot. You know my motto, safety first.
They could be dangerous. I think we should call animal control.
Animal control?
To be safe.
Don't worry.
Just...
I got this. It's a new motto.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you.
Here's your check.
Oh, you got it. You know, since I got rid of my car, I really enjoy walking.
Okay. Got it. No?
Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates.
Oh, you're home early.
You live with your mom?
That'll set your game back a few years. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
After taking a week off for spring break, all of us UNC fans sure have missed a lot. First, let's take a look at men's and women's hoops. High hopes led to severe disappointment for the UNC men's and women's basketball teams over the break when they competed in their respective Big Sky tournaments. The women's team and standout point guard Savannah Smith entered the Big Sky tournament in Boise as the number 2 seed. In the first round, the Bears had a matchup against number 10 seeded Southern Utah. The Bears made very short work of the Thunderbirds thanks to a huge second quarter where they outscored Southern Utah 26-7. When it was all said and done, the Bears posted a dominating final score of 82-50. That set up a matchup with the number 6 seeded Eastern Washington Eagles. The game came down to the wire, but in the end, the Eagles pulled off a 2-point upset over the women's team by a score of 59-57. The women's season wasn't over though. They had a bid to the NIT, which took them up to Laramie for a matchup against Wyoming. The Bears hung tough, but ended up losing to Wyoming by a final of 68-60 to end their season. As for the men's team, well, their march only lasted for one game after winning almost every award they could in the end-of-season Big Sky Awards. The men also entered the tournament to play as the number 2 seed and drew a matchup against Southern Utah. The two teams played twice in the regular season, and the Bears took both games by double digits. But this is the conference tournament, and the Thunderbirds got payback, posting an 83-64 win over the Bears and ending their season much earlier than expected. The end of both teams' season also marked the end of a couple of star careers for UNC basketball. Savannah Smith and Jordan Davis have both been a part of some great runs and go down in history as two of the best to ever play for the Blue and Gold. Another team that wrapped up their season over the break was the wrestling team. The Bears had 3 wrestlers exit the 2019 NCAA championships. Jacob Seeley lost his first match, sending him to the consolation bracket. There, he won 1 duel and then lost in the consolation side of the final 16. Rico Montoya didn't fare much better as he lost both of his first matchups. One came via tech fall and the other a loss in a 9-5 decision. The other Bear wrestler was Chris Sandoval. He met the same fate as Montoya, losing his first 2 matches by a score of 7-5. and 7-4. But the UNC wrestling team's future looks bright as freshman Sandoval will be joined by the number 4 best recruiting class for the 2019-2020 season, according to the Open Mat. Unfortunately, the story for the UNC club hockey team wasn't much different. The team strapped up their skates on the Dallas Stars ice this weekend to compete in the HCHA National Championships. The Bears competed in the D2 contest, taking on Indiana's Trine University on Friday. Jacob Seabold put the Bears up early in the first period, and it was Cade Boring who added a power play goal in the second. But the Bears' defense began to wane. Trine dumped a goal in the second and almost immediately into the third, tying the game. The game ended in a tie with no overtime goals. They called it a draw. The following day, the Bears put on an offensive showcase against North Carolina State, putting up 5 goals. 4 of those came from the second period. But the Wolfpack was just as fearsome, tying the game 5-5 before putting the game away with a power play goal in the third to win 5-6 over the Bears. The Bears had one more day to prove themselves against the University of Massachusetts, but their offense didn't click like the day before. Recording only 1 shot, the Bears fell to the University of Massachusetts 3-1. This game ended the Bears' time at the national championships as they came in last in the men's D2A group. It also ends the Bears' season as they won't be back on the ice until late 2019. Heading to the Diamond, baseball is now in full swing. The Bears hosted the Chicago State Cougars over the weekend, taking games 1 and 3 of the 4-game series. And on Tuesday, the Bears hit the Diamond once again to take on the Metro State Roadrunners. Unfortunately, the Bears didn't have much luck in that matchup. Metro easily ran away with a 17-6 victory. Things definitely started out rough for the Bears as they gave up 9 runs in the first 2 innings. Meanwhile, UNC could only come up with 1 run in those first 2 innings. Metro put up 15 hits across 9 innings, and the Bears could only muster 8. Next up, the Bears hit the road for a 3-game series against the University of Texas, Rio Grande Valley. Speaking of Diamonds, the UNC softball team is still winless in the Big Sky Conference play after dropping their doubleheader against Weber State Friday. UNC fell 6-4 in the first game and fell 6-1 in the second. In the first game of the series, UNC threw Valerie Vital, who shut out the Wildcats for the first 4 innings. And with the help of teammates Cheyenne Talmage, Maddie Young, Shayna Robinson, and Kinsey Kundra, the Bears ran up the score, 4-0 by the bottom of the 4th. It wasn't until the top of the 5th that the Wildcats got on the board, and in the top of the 7th, a Courtney Pesca 3-run homer sealed the 6-4 victory for the Wildcats. Unfortunately, things didn't get any better for the Bears in the second game. This time, it was Weber who jumped out to an early lead, scoring 3 runs in the top of the first. The Wildcats never looked back, eventually defeating the Bears 6-1. The third game of the series was canceled because of the rain Saturday morning. The Bears also faced off with their in-state rival CSU Tuesday and fell 3-4. Up next, the Bears take on Portland State Friday. Taking a look at tennis, the women's team dropped another conference match at home Saturday, falling 4-3 to Southern Utah. Things looked good for the Bears early on in the match when the team secured the doubles point thanks to the number 1 and 3 pairings. But Southern Utah pushed ahead in the singles matches, winning at the number 4 and 1 spots. Number 2 Rafa Mora and number 3 Sandra Kita responded, taking hard-fought victories of their own, putting the Bears in position to win the match. The Bears just needed 1 win from the final 2 matches, number 5 and 6 singles. But the Thunderbirds pulled off the wins to come out on top for a nail-biting victory. The Bears faced off with Portland State Tuesday and suffered yet another loss, 5-2. Up next, the Bears head to Idaho to take on Idaho State Saturday. And finally tonight, it's the day Colorado Rockies fans have looked forward to since October, when the umpire yells, "Play ball," to start the 2019 baseball season. The Rockies open the season in Miami against the Marlins, and as Bear News reporter Luke Mullins tells us, there's plenty to be excited about.
And Desmond is the last guy between the Brewers and a sweep. He lifts one into right. Kane and Broxton, it'll be Kane, and that's that.
For the Colorado Rockies, the 2018 season ended in disappointment with the lackluster showing against the Milwaukee Brewers in the National League Division Series. But that disappointment cannot overshadow the optimism that surrounds this team for many years to come. Optimism that was reinvigorated this offseason with the addition of all-star and postseason legend Daniel Murphy to take over at first base, and a historic extension for superstar third baseman Nolan Arenado, who's led the league in home runs in 3 of the past 4 years. Arenado and Murphy will be supported by one of baseball's most powerful lineups, one that includes fan-favorite star outfielder Charlie Blackmon, and rising superstar shortstop Trevor Story, who last season hit the longest home run since 2015.
This guy is a budding superstar. It's that simple. This ball's hit a long way again. That's number 30. Where will this one land? Concourse again.
Young sluggers David Dahl and Ryan McMahon came up with big moments for the Rockies last season, and they will be counted on again in their first full seasons in 2019.
High drive, deep right field. Did he catch it all? Yeah! He did it again! He did it! The Rockies win it! How about that, Ryan McMahon? Go Ducks, everybody! McMahon has walked off the Dodgers!
The Rockies are best known for their offense, but it may be their young pitching that makes them so dangerous. Hometown hero Kyle Freeland had arguably the best pitching season in franchise history last year, while German Marquez set the franchise record in strikeouts for a single season. The Rockies know it will be a challenge to overcome the Los Angeles Dodgers and win their first ever division title, but they also know they are one of baseball's best teams, and they are still getting better. And after a taste of victory last season, it's a safe bet that the Rockies have more winning in the near future.
Now it's time! The Colorado Rockies have gone on the road and defeated the Cubs to move on to the division series.
Reporting from Johnstown, Colorado, this is Luke Mullins, Bear News.
Only time will tell, but Rockies fans hope that maybe this year their team brings home that first division title.
That old adage, you can't win them all if you don't win the first one. They're up 6-2 as we're talking right now, middle of the ninth. So it looks like Kyle Freeland's in line. And even if you're not a Rockies fan here in Colorado, you still get a chance to go check out Coors Field, which is just a blast in itself.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to attending to some games myself.
Yeah, especially with this warm weather and some hot dogs and a Coke. Heck yeah.
I'll take a beer.
So that does it for tonight. Thanks so much for joining us.
Remember that voting for Student Senate voting begins April 2nd through the 4th, so be sure to make your voice heard. And remember, Bear News is your source for all things UNC all the time. Good night.